All right. Wow. It feels nice to be back, honestly. And for folks who are new to this, hi, I'm Jerome. I'm one of your co-hosts, joined by Vivian and Patty. It's always nice to look back on our, performances in KS. Viv, can you quickly tell us, how you got started?
Yes, so I joined Kinding Sindaw back in college because of my friend Malika. And she actually introduced me to a lot of the dances to be able to perform to our college for not just our club, but also for other student organizations, just to have the student body learn more about the indigenous culture of the Philippines, because a lot of what we were taught or what was going around was more um, of the new dances. And it was just really nice to be able to go back into more of a cultural aspect And then since then, I've just been learning more dances with Kinding Sindaw. I was in part of a few of their production. Um, and also, you probably just see me dancing in some of the New York City events with them once in a while. But yeah, that's been my journey with Kinding Sindaw and still learning more. And Jerome, you actually joined a little bit more recently, right?
Gonna Okay, I'm unmuted now. My computer's lagging. Yes, I did join back in 2018. Well, sorry, 2018, 2019. I heard about it through it was a collaboration between Kayako and Kalusugan Coalition for Heart Health, and I joined in around like early 2019, just to get my feet wet and understanding and learning more about cultural practices in Mindanao, because again, that's the place that I didn't get to learn much about, if at all, when I was growing up. And I wove my way through. Now I'm a co-host of Rinayung. I'm also helping people prepare for a Queensborough Dance Festival. And I was also in our production last year of Mananadem, which was amazing. It really brings out my love for theater, and I'm looking forward to learning a lot more as well. And
Right.
yeah,
Mhm.
we can move
Yeah,
on.
so even though we are still in the pandemic, we are really fortunate to have the virtual dance classes, as Jerome mentioned. He actually did a really good job teaching us earlier today.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, we are trying to join biweekly for Rinayung, and we are trying to do more in-person stuff now, such as the Queensborough Dance Festival. And hopefully, for those in New York City, we will have studios opened up to do classes again, but that'll be up and coming.
Yes, and I'm really excited because you don't have to be Filipino to join. It's open to the community. We're like a huge family, which is what I love the most about KS. So we can move right on to the next slide. I don't know if you've advanced the slide. I think my computer has stopped. Maybe it has not. Apologies, folks. I think the technical errors are on my end. All right, thank you, Patty, for letting me know you advanced the slides. So, for folks who are not familiar with Rinayung, just a quick brief review. It's the magical boat of Bantugan in the Darangan epic of the Meranaw people. It travels distance, it flies, it can shapeshift and go underwater. And it can carry a multitude of things like people, vegetation, and animal life. And it's a symbol of diaspora, like us here in America and across the world. It's our duty as folks in the diaspora to amplify and uplift the voices of the indigenous folks in the Philippines, because their stories are not getting heard or told the right way. It's on us. We have a certain level of privilege and power to really funnel it towards them so that way things are accurately done and we can fight for equity on all fronts. Next slide, please.
Right. So just a heads up for those who are in the Zoom call, and for those watching on Facebook, it is a live event that is streamed on Facebook. So for those in the Zoom call who are not comfortable sharing their video or speaking anytime in the event, feel free to mute yourself and also stop your video. If there are questions or comments that you would like to share, feel free to leave it in the chat. Also in the comment section on Facebook as well. We'll be monitoring both of them and sharing it back to the group here so that everyone will know. And in addition to that, if there are any topics, questions, or discussions that are mentioned today that becomes of discomfort to anyone, it's not in our interest to do that. Our goal really is to educate and to have a platform where there is a discussion. But if there is anything that come across wrong or bad to you, you can let me, Jerome, Poetry, or Patty know on the side, and we will discuss on our end, see how we can better advance for the future so that we can continue to do the series with being respectful to everyone who is tuning in with us.
All right, thank you so much, Viv. So tonight's program, again, my name is Jerome. I'm one of your lovely co-hosts, along with Vivian Chow and Patty Kilroy. We're also joined by our artistic director and founder, Potirang Kamanis. The mission of KS is to assert, reclaim, and preserve our culture, especially folks in Mindanao. Again, it's on us to really make sure everything is retained, oral storytelling and tradition, so that many generations can also enjoy this rich culture. We also want to give a quick shout out to our funders. We've got some land acknowledgements, and then we're gonna go right and meet our previous speaker from last episode, which feels like so long ago. Um, Professor Tirmizy is back, and we're very excited to hear him talk about historical and cultural context of the Meranaw people. We also have a small window for Q&A, and then we'll have some closing announcements at the end. Next slide, please. Okay, so quick thank you to our funders. First and foremost, we have the Lloyd and Nicholas Lewis and Reginald F. Lewis Foundation, who are some of our biggest supporters since our inception in 1992. They, without them, we would not have honestly gone on this long, 20 plus years of our work. So thank you so much. We also would like to thank La Mama Experimental Theater Club, and a huge shout out to the great and the late Ellen Stewart, who saw something in Poultry's work, and she gave us the opportunity to go on the stage at La Mama and really amplify Indigenous art forms. And we've been resident artists there for many years as well. So thank you to La Mama. We also want to shout out Lotus Music and Dance, one of our long-standing community partners who have also helped us expand our network and even helped us find guest speakers for the series back on our Land is Life portion way back in like the fall of 2020. We'd also like to give a shout out to the New York City Council, the Howard Gilman Foundation, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, NYFA, Dance NYC, and Kidney Care of the Treasure Coast. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat para sa inyong suporta. Thank you so much for your support, and we hope to continue doing this great work. Next slide, please.
All right, thank you for that, Jerome. So for land acknowledgement, we will once again have recordings of two traditional bearers. The first one will feature Teresa Bearfox from the Mohawk land. She will be singing a song and chanting. So we'll have that up. And then following that, I believe we will have a tradition bearer from the Taoxic Nation back in the indigenous land of the Philippines. So Patty, whenever you're ready, you can start those two videos.
Yeah, it's good to be here with all of you. Kangyokokta is my Mohawk name. It means I'm at the back of a crowd of people or at the end of a long line of people. And I'd like to share a song with you all. It's in honor of the women. What I'm saying in the language, which is Ganyak Geha, the Mohawk language, I'm saying that women have good minds, women have good medicine, and women have a lot of strength. And Deodalit Salane is like the generations of the teachings that have been carried on from one generation to the next. So I hope you like this song. Yung kwani kong tiyo ne ya gyong kwe yung kwanong kwa telio ne ya gyong kwe yo we yung kwa zat san telaya ne ya gyong kwe ne ya gyong kwe ayo 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 we ya we hana yo we ya we ya we ya we hana yo we ya we ya we ya Dio dele telane ne ya kyungwe ne ya kyungwe yung kwani kong tiyo ne ya kyungwe yung kwano kwa telio ne ya kyungwe yo we yung kwa zat stan telaya ne ya kyungwe ya kyung kwe hayo 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 we ya we hana yo we ya he we ya he we ya he we hana yo we ya he we ya he we ya he Dio de letzelane ne ya kyung kwe ne ya kyung kwe Yokoa.
Right, thank you so much for that. We do have one more, but I think this will just be a video. So just give me 1 second while I have.
Sorry. Here we go.
Susulan lupa su ulaan cinta usung marurung iwan ma isung asusulan lupa su lupa suma lingkap dato salip inak ipat di kami maka ukat landu maku sugimba kakat lupa sugan dilan ulasing dayang dayang ninamu kalupahan landu namu kalasahan.
All right, thank you so much. And that was our favorite City Obeso from the Tausug Nation in the Philippines. And for folks who don't speak the Tausug language, essentially what our okay, I'm gonna try that again. I guess I muted myself. So that's City Obeso, the Tausug Nation in the Philippines. And her song is praising the courage of the Tausug people in defending their sacred land, and also speaks on the beauty of the Sulu archipelago, way deep south in the Philippines. And we're going to move right on to meeting our speaker. I can't tell if you moved aside yet, but I'm going to assume you did. So there we go. Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. So Professor Tirmizy Abdullah is back, and just a quick reminder of who he is. He's a faculty member of the History Department at Mindanao State University in Marawi City. He's also an advocate of Muslim Mindanao history, heritage, and culture. Also, he serves as the Executive Council member of the National Committee on Monuments and Sites of the National Commission for Culture and Arts of the Philippines. Without further ado, Professor Tirmizy Abdullah.
Thank you, Jerome. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Your audio is a little low.
Hello, hello.
Okay, I think when you put the microphone right next to you, it should be better.
Okay. So is this okay?
A little bit louder, and I think it should be fine.
Hello, hello.
Okay, that's better.
How about this one? Is this okay?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay. I'm now. Can I share my PowerPoint? It appears here, host disabled participants screen
Uh,
sharing?
mhm. I just changed the features, so I think you should be able to share now.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
There we go.
Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Eidun Sayyidun, Eid Mubarak to all of us, to all of you there. Greetings from Marawi City. First of all, I'd like to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the opportunity again to meet, Alhamdulillah. I'd like also to thank the energetic, active team of Kinding Sindaw. Thank you very much for organizing this one. Thank you very much for inviting me here again. The sponsors of this lecture series. Uh, at the outset, I'd like to ask for an apology. The last time that we were supposed to have a lecture series, because my mom actually was in the hospital that time, so I could not find the internet connection in the hospital. Now also, I went to the office of my friend. They have NGO. Its name is Kalimutan, and asked them if I can connect to their Wi-Fi. I acknowledge them also. Okay, so my topic is Meranaw cultural heritage. Uh, I put here Meranaw because we want to keep the indigenous way of pronouncing the name of that nation. There is no such people as Maranao, Meranaw. We only have Meranaw, Meranaw cultural heritage. Also, this month of May is the Heritage Month in the Philippines. The picture that you can see in the background is called panulong. This one, panulong, is it is usually attached in find in the turugan. Turugan is the traditional quarter house of the Ranaus. Yes, so that's called panulong. In my presentation, I will be, because cultural heritage is very broad, so I will be focusing more on tangible, and not really on intangible. So this panulong actually is the only surviving or intact panulong of one of the remaining turugan in Lanao. That turugan is located in Ganasi, and its name is Bantug Unayan Turugan. Bantug means pride. Unayan is one of the principalities of Lanao, because in Lanao, traditionally, Lanao, the land of the Meranaws, is divided into four principalities. Sorry for that. Hello?
Yes, we hear you again.
Yeah, sorry. Yes. Uh, yes. The word Meranaw, the Meranaw nation, is derived from the word Ranao, which means lake, and it refers to Lake Lanao. So those inhabitants surrounding the Lake Lanao, surrounding Ranao, they are known as the Meranaw, or people of the lake. So the identity of the Meranaw people is always associated with Lake Lanao. So this Lake Lanao is part of the natural heritage of the Meranaws. So if the Lake Lanao or Ranao is destroyed, it is as if also that the identity of the Meranaw is destroyed. So the Meranaws have have to take care of Lake Lanao. Perhaps this Lake Lanao is one of the ancient lakes in Southeast Asia. So that's where the name Meranaw comes from, Ranao. Now, according to the heritage law of the Philippines, cultural heritage refers to the totality of cultural property preserved and developed through and passed on to posterity. So, cultural property refers to all products of human creativity by which a people and a nation reveal their identity. Yes, I told you earlier that this lecture series is very timely because this month of May is declared by the Philippine government as National Heritage Month. It was during the time of President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, uh, Proclamation 439. It was signed in 2003. There's a specific provision, no, wherein it reads as whereas the need to project, promote, and celebrate people's multicultural traditions, our indigenous people's culture, our Muslim, Filipino, Chinese brothers' traditions and heritage, likewise recognized. Is stipulated in the proclamation that the Muslim or the Bangsamoro heritage is recognized, no, recognized, and recognized by the Philippine government, and there is a need to project and promote and celebrate their heritage. Yeah, because the Muslim nations in the Philippines, they are composed of 13 nations, no? And one of them is the Meranaw nation or the Meranaw ethno linguistic group. Uh, for the context, no, I'd like to also to start it with the context, no, the context of the Meranaws. So sharing, no, uh, last sharing we discussed about the Spanish Moro Wars, no, Moro Wars, and most of the tangible cultural heritage of the Maranaos were basically captured by the Spanish and Americans during their war against the Maranaos, against the Muslims in Mindanao and Sulu, and taken away from where they used to belong. If you go to Spain, uh, if you go to Spain, uh, you can find in their museums the lantakas of the Moros, of the Maranaos, and those lantakas and other, no, other tangible cultural heritage were actually basically captured during the Spanish Moro Wars. Likewise, also during the time of the American invasion in Mindanao. Uh, some of the tangible cultural heritage were destroyed in battles, no, and some also were taken away. No, uh, a very good example was the Maradeka, the Quran of Bayang, the Quran of Bayang, which was taken by an American volunteer during the Battle of Bayang. If you can still remember the sharing that I've shared last time about Battle of Bayang. So some lantakas, the brassware cannons of the Meranaws, including that Quran, was brought to the United States, and later on it was returned back. It was returned back to the Philippines. It was returned back to the National Museum, and then it was taken by former president, the wife of former President Marcos, and now it is now found in the National Museum. And also the prolonged armed conflict in Mindanao from the early 1970s to the present seriously affected the preservation of cultural heritage. Many were abandoned, destroyed, or lost in the turmoil. Um, Here in Marawi, there was this famous Marawi uprising back in 1972, wherein some parts of Marawi were burned. No, that was actually on October 23, 1972, the immediate, the first response to the martial law of Marcos was the rebellion, the uprising that happened here in Marawi. And during those times, there were many tangible cultural heritage that were abandoned, destroyed, or lost in that uprising. In that uprising, uh, and also yes, the Marawi siege of 2017. No, so that's basically the context because of this. Political instability, because of this insurgency, the rebellion, it really affect the tangible cultural heritage of the Maranaos, and also the economic situation. No, economic situation. In Nowadays, there are only three remaining turugan in Lanao del Sur, and some of the turugan were actually brought by some big companies. No, they bought it from the private owners, no, which is actually it has a ethical issue because you cannot uproot actually the immovable tangible cultural heritage from the place where they originally belong. But it happened here that the Turugan, no, no, to some of the Turugans were bought, no, were bought by rich companies, and they transfer it to other place like in Manila or in Luzon. And it's because if you'll be asking the private owners, it is basically for economic survival, no, economic survival. So there is really a need, a need, a support, particularly a support from the government in the conservation, preservation of these tangible, both movable and immovable cultural heritage of the Maranaos. And also, yes, the Marawi Siege of 2017, no, 2017. Uh, yeah, we take the case of Marawi City, no, the case of cultural heritage in the midst of armed conflict. Uh, this issue on cultural heritage vis-a-vis with the Marawi siege, no, there is a little attention was given to this. In fact, the allegation of the activists and the civil society organizations to the rehabilitation of Marawi, there is no in the plan. There was no really an element to restore, no, to restore the cultural heritage of the people, no, cultural heritage of the people. And this is very important because it has something to do with the identity of the people. In fact, the right of the people for safe and dignified return, immediate return after the war, it has something to do with the identity. It has something to do with the heritage. If you'll be asking the people, why you want to go back immediately to Marawi after the war, they said, if we cannot return, then who we are, who we are, who are we now? No, so we don't want to be forever displaced. We are Maranaos. We are people of Marawi City, and we should not be forever IDP. So you can see these pictures of people organizing themselves. You can see this picture, Marawi, the grave of my parents and my ancestor. They want a genuine participation in the rebuilding of Marawi. Yeah, why Marawi is especially mentioned here because Maranaos always look Marawi as their center of life and activities, a marketplace between Lake Lanao and the North Sea coastal regions. Also here in Lanao, it's very sad because there is this prevalence of Ridu, the family feud, and most of the time in the other municipalities they are bringing their heirlooms, their tangible heritage in their houses in Marawi for safekeeping, for safekeeping, so that they cannot be lost along, in the process of conflict, in the process of this family feud. But it was very sad when it happened to Marawi. No, actually, there were many tangible cultural heritage that were destroyed during Marawi siege, particularly records, records like the Salsila. Salsila is actually a written genealogical account, written written in modified Arabic Meranaw language, or we call it kirim, no kirim. I have an example here, of a salsila. It's actually a salsila, no salsila. Uh, uh, the salsila is written, I think, during American period, and there were other salsilas also that were older than this, older than this, that were destroyed in Marawi siege. You can see this one is the letters are modified Arabic actually. So this is an example of a genealogical account, or salsila, or in Tausug, Tarsila. Yes. So, yes, Maranaos considered Marawi as a sanctuary for their valuable, tangible, unmovable heritage like Salsilas, the Kirim, Islamic manuscripts, Pusaka, heirlooms, etc., are transferred in Marawi for safekeeping. But it was very sad what happened in Marawi City last 2017. This one, like, these are very this is the clamor of the people of Marawi: safe, immediate, and dignified return of the Marawi IDPs. They're saying, o di kami makakasuy na antawa kami. Kung hindi kami makakabalik, sino kami? If we cannot return back, no, return back to Marawi after the war, then who are we? No, who are we? So we don't want displaced people to be our permanent identity. We are Imarawin, we are Meranaw, we want to go back. So yeah, there is really a connection uh, between displacement, conflict, and with that of the cultural heritage of the people. Yeah, some of the tangible, immovable cultural heritage that were destroyed in Marawi are masjid, no masjid, masjid or mosque, no mosque, masjid or mosque. There are many mosque or masjid, old masjid in in Marawi City, that were destroyed during the war. I remember we tried to appeal to the Philippine government not to do airstrike, because it would definitely destroy this historical cultural heritage of the city, no. And then even after the war, we appealed to the government that the government should restore these masjid, places of worship, for its historical and cultural heritage status, because the Philippine government has been restoring churches in the country, although there is a separation of church and the state. But the Philippine government is restoring churches, not for religious purpose, but for its heritage, no heritage aspect. And if it happened to the churches, it should also be applied also to the masjid of the Maranaos in Marawi City. So this is an example: Jamiu Dansalan Al-Islami, Dansalan Islamic Center, or Masjid in Dansalan, or Masjid Bato, one of the oldest, no oldest masjids in Marawi City that was destroyed in the war. Then this is inside the Masjid Dansalan, Masjid Dansalan. So before, during the war, and after the war. Yeah. Uh, and then another masjid is the Jamio Mindanao Al Islami, or Mindanao Islamic Center, or Grand Masjid. No, Grand Masjid. So this was the picture before the war, and the other one is the picture after the war. No, and then Masjid Nadwa Al Islamiyah. You can see this photo, and actually now this masjid is totally demolished. No, this is totally demolished. This is our problem with the task force Bangon Marawi, asking the government to do the rehabilitation. They don't do really a real consultation with the people. No, this is very sad because they totally destroy. Totally demolished. No, demolished the some many of the masjid, like the case of Masjid Ad-Dawa Al-Islamiyah. Yeah, another masjid is Masjid An-Nadwa. This is also totally demolished, not restored. The old city hall, no, old city hall. We heritage advocate are trying to convince, the government, the local government of Marawi, the task force Bangon Marawi, that this old city hall should be restored. This old city hall was the city hall even during the American period, no, American period here in Lanao. Then Masjid in Raya Madaya, you can see this is actually the vernacular one. The other picture. This was uh, the original one. So later on, it was replaced with dome, because this dome style is adapted from the Middle East. The vernacular architecture of our Meranaw traditional masjid is like pagoda, like this one, like this one. That's why I'm encouraging the communities that if they will build let's explore the possibility of vernacular architecture, no, like this one, the pagoda style of a masjid, and not the one that we adopt from the Middle East, the dome, the dome style. Now the old and Salan market, the Padian, this one also is totally flattened, no, totally flattened. Now before the siege, no, if you go to Padian, Old and Salan Market, you can see stalls selling Meranaw crafts, no, from Tugay. You can see here a brassware, big brassware. Yes. Yeah, this one is the old Padian, and this time this one is already flattened. Yeah, and also one of the thing that I really miss in Marawi is are those people playing traditional Maranao sport, kasipa sa manggis. Actually, every Friday and Saturday they do that one in Plaza Kabili, Plaza Kabili, and now after the war, I could not see any more people playing this traditional Maranao Kasipa sa Manggis. Uh, Actually, I'm telling my friends that we should be providing a space for these players, no, to continue, no, for them to continue playing this traditional Maranao sport, no. I remember before the siege, I used to go there and sometimes Friday or Saturday, just to just to watch these gentlemen playing kasipa sa Manggis. They are wearing their traditional malong. Yeah. The Tuacabata Public Staircase, no, established in 1951. Now these places are already flattened. demolished. Yeah, the according to the heritage law of the Philippines, there are kinds of cultural properties or heritage. First is we have the tangible cultural heritage. Now refers to cultural property. No, uh, cultural property with historical, archival, anthropological, archaeological, and architectural value, and with the exception of traditional production, whether Philippines or not, including antiques and natural uh, yeah, with significant value. So this tangible cultural property may be classified into two. Uh, we have the yeah, tangible movable property can be moved and or transported from one place to another. Like what I've told you, the salsila, the Quran, the old Quran, the sarimanok, etc., etc. Like this one, this is an example of tangible, movable heritage of the Meranaw. The Maradeka da Quran of Bayang declared by the National Museum as a national cultural treasure. This is actually the Quran that I was telling you that was captured by the Americans during the Battle of Bayang, and now it is being returned. It is now found in the National Museum. So an example of also of tangible movable heritage are those crafts products that are being produced in Tugaya. Tugaya is one of the towns in Lanao del Sur wherein they produce Meranaw crafts. No, actually by barangay, by village, they have a particular products being produced. No, one barangay they produce kampilan, like this one sword. Another barangay they produce a musical instrument like kolintang, like agong, like debakan. So another barangay they produce what is this malong, no? Inaul, woven malong by barangay, by village. Uh, yeah, and what I observe now uh, is that if we cannot give attention to this later on, this practice of producing this kind of Maranao heritage materials uh, no, no will be reduced because their children are not anymore learning how to produce these crafts because maybe of lack of support or yeah, for economic survival, especially this time of pandemic. No, recent or during the lockdown, I visited them. Their problem, the challenge that they are facing is that they cannot anymore sell their products because of the pandemic. The NCCA provided the ayuda with an amount of 5,000 pesos. And then what is 5,000 pesos? It's not really sustainable. So they were like looking for something, an intervention from the government that is sustainable, not only just to give them a token amount and then that's it. So they want something, an intervention that is sustainable, vis-a-vis with the pandemic. Yes, these are some of their products. Mini turugan, no, mini turugan. Yeah, mini lansa, no, a boat in the lake, ship. This one, these are some of the products of Tugaya, the Meranaw Heritage Town. Yeah, wooden sample of a lantaka. Yeah, some of the yeah. Then tangible, immovable property. These are properties that cannot be moved or transported from one place to another. A very good example for the Meranaws is the Turugan. It is the traditional living quarters of the Meranaws. Uh, like what I've told you, there are only three remaining Turugan in Lanao del Sur. The rest were already they were destroyed no. Others were bought by big companies in Luzon. So the only surviving turugan here are three. The Kawayan Turugan in Marantao, no, the town that where I'm coming from. The Turugan in Ganasi, and the other one is the Turugan in Dayawan, Marawi City. Now, this Kawayan Turugan is in a very poor condition, and I'd like to take this opportunity, no, to call for action, no. Let's explore the possibility, no. I want to make you uncomfortable with this, no. Uh, by telling you the present situation of this one of the remaining cultural heritage of the Meranaws. It is in a very poor condition. And when we will be reacting after it is destroyed, this is our way. Sorry to tell you this in the Philippines. No, after a built heritage is destroyed or lost, we say, "Oh, sayang, sayang." This is the way how we are losing our built heritage. We only react after it's gone already. So yeah, uh, yes, uh, yeah, you can see the view of the Turugan, and you know the design of this panulong. Every panulong has different design. Has different design. Actually, the idea of panulong is the one that is attached in a boat, no, in a boat in the tip of the boat, no, that provides direction. So the Meranaw people, they also attach it to their house, which symbolizes for the Meranaws, our life in this world is like we are on a journey. We are on a constant journey. No? No? Yeah. So another turugan is the Bantog Unayan Turugan in Ganasi. In Ganasi. And there is only one panulong that is still intact in the Bantog Unayan Turugan in Ganasi. Uh, it they're telling me that before the other panulong were still there, but there are some thieves, individuals. They are cutting the turugan and they are selling it to the antique collectors, antique collectors. So it's in a very poor condition. So, yeah, I will end my sharing there. My focus again was more on tangible, more on built heritage, and also movable heritage. And the rest we can, I think, entertain. We can have discussion in the open forum. Thank you very much. Back to you.
I would like to ask a question. Assalamualaikum, Eid Mubarak.
Eid
When
Mubarak.
Ellen Inicia Guru was here with me in the US, we were already discussing how to rehabilitate the Turugan, you know? And then
Yes.
we tried studying it, and the family of the owner don't want it. This is supposed to be you know, a national treasure already. And then we were, that is like 2006, 2007. We're trying to look at possibilities of getting support to rehabilitate it. So, you being in the ground, Professor, would you kindly help us and guide us, because one of our mission in Pinding Sindaw is preservation. And as you said, this is an ancestral culture and I mean, a tangible heritage that marks our civilization. That we are an ancient civilization. Our architecture is. Our architecture symbolizes how developed our civilization was. So see how we are going. How can we partner in rehabilitating this Turugan?
Yes, Ma'am Putri. I agree with you, and also in my opinion about the one that you've mentioned, I think you are referring to Kawayan Turugan. It is also declared as National Cultural Treasure in CT by the National Museum. And with regards to the issue on the owners, I think, in my opinion, when I try to uh, ground investigation about this, I think there was the educational awareness or educating. There was this lacking on letting the owners or the family understand the importance or the value of that turugan. I think the dialogues were not really exhausted, no, were not really exhausted. And with my friends, when I asked the owners, and because from time to time we're visiting this site, and then it's like there is a gradual improvement that they started to appreciate, understand why there is a need to preserve and conserve the turugan. And just to tell you is that coming from the family, it's like they are now again becoming interested from the to the offer to preserve the turugan. I think they are referring to that move that you've mentioned before. So hopefully, that effort to preserve conserve the Kawayan Turugan will be revived again. Yeah, yeah, because our tangible, both movable and immovable heritage here in Lanao are in a very poor condition. They are neglected. No, they are neglected. There are no mechanism to protect them. No, to protect them. No, so that's why we hope that this new government, this BARM, will enact policies that will protect, that will protect the cultural heritage of the Meranaws or the entire Bangsamoro people.
I have another question.
Yes,
Um,
Ma'am Putri.
how can our government, or how can the Meranaw LGU allow this to happen, that our Turugan is being transported to Ilocos? And
Yeah,
what kind of conscience is that you have to uproot a culture just to make money out of it for tourism?
yeah. My opinion, I asked the community and even some of those owners of the Turugan, it has something to do with economic survival. Not necessarily the LGU, the local government that sell the Turugan, but actually the owners. Uh, uh, they have issue on economic survival, economic survival. So when these companies came in and convinced the owner that I will buy the Turugan. So yeah, they need money also for economic survival. So they started to
There
they
should
saw.
be some program of protection, like
Yes.
some countries have a government that protects their heritage. Now, the what is going on is, for example, among the Tiboli area, they keep on selling their pusaka. So there was once that I caught it. Like, don't sell it. I'll buy it. I'll buy it. It's the property of Kinisida, but you can use it. But I said it's our property because they might sell it again. So that kind of consciousness has to be. It's the helplessness, the hopelessness of the indigenous people. it just surfaced that the indigenous people are not given attention by our by our government, with no value of heritage. So where is NCCA?
Yeah, sometimes we can feel that NCC is far from us. That's why now there is a hope now with the barn, because they established the Bangsamoro Commission for Cultural Heritage Preservation. And I'd like to go back with the issue of education. What I observe here in the ground is that our people should be educated about the importance, the value of our cultural heritage, because the number one protectors, no, ideally the number one protectors of our cultural heritage, particularly tangible cultural heritage, are the community itself, no. So the if, even if the government, the cultural agencies, are there, the NCCA, the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, the National Museum of the Philippines, even if they are still there, if the community, where the cultural heritage are found, they do not have awareness, or they do not value, no, uh, the heritage that they have, um, yeah, there's still a problem. So, uh, education is very important. Grassroots education. Let us educate the community, the people, the people in the community, so that they will be the number one people who will protect, no, the cultural heritage in the ground. Another is the level of the local government unit, the LGU. They should be educated with this, so that they can provide a local support to the community. In fact, there is also a memorandum from the Department of Interior and Local Government to the LGUs, that they should organize. They should organize the local heritage and art council, no, so that this council can work with the community, uh, and protect, map all the heritage, uh, cultural heritage that are found in the community, and protect it, no. Let's say, for example, very basic for built heritage, to put a marker is very basic. And actually, if you put a marker in a built heritage, it's like it's part of protecting it. Like you're telling the people, hey,
It's a
uh,
landmark.
this is important, and you should not destroy this one. You should protect this one, no, protect this one, no. This is sacred, no. For us Meranaw, kasi built heritage is very important, no, very sacred for us, no. So you're visiting the built heritage, not just a tourist, but it's like a pilgrim. If you are a pilgrim, so if you're a pilgrim, you're like treating the built heritage as, as sacred, so you respect it, no. You're not just a tourist coming in and enjoy it, sightseeing, then that's it. But if you are coming as pilgrim, there is this element of respect, and uh, uh, putting in a high regard
So what is
the
your suggestion? Like for example, um, like the pyramid of Egypt. That's
yeah,
intangible human heritage.
yeah, that's tangible.
Machu Picchu and the pyramid in Mexico. Now we have those equivalent, like for example, this Turugan. There
Yes,
should be an extra protection for this area. Now, who will do this? I mean, this has been there since childhood. There have been since my childhood. We've been struggling hard how to preserve it. Now, now with the coming of commodification of this heritage, uh, it reduces its value to become just a private property that will become a decoration in a home, or merely a museum piece that is empty of its meaning already because it's uprooted. So, what action that is going on in the ground right now that internationally we can partner with?
Uh, Recently, there's a newly established Meranaw Cultural Heritage Center in MSU, headed by Professor Surhaila Yusuf Latif, and they've done extensive cultural mapping, no cultural mapping in Lanao del Sur. And I think if that the output of that cultural mapping can be used as one of the references in the educational and awareness campaign to the ground that I told you, because my observation that education in the grassroots level is very important. We have to go to the community because sometimes, or most of the time, the one that are destroying the built heritage are actually members of the community because they don't realize the value of this built heritage, like kota, the kota, uh,
Kota, yeah,
yeah, the kota,
terracotta.
the camp, the traditional camp of the Maranaos. Yeah, the quotas now there are many quotas here, historical, that has very historical value, and they are now in a very poor condition. The community, even the community, many members of the community, they don't really know the historical value of the quota. Last time we were in Bayang. We memorialized the Battle of Bayang, and then I was invited to give insights to the importance, the value of Dakota, no Dakota, and not only the Kota of Bayang, because there are other kotas there like the Kota of Binidayan. And if you see, it's in a very poor condition. So I'm encouraging the community. Many members of the community, they are not aware of it. So it was like an opportunity to educate them, educate them, and the LGU also was there, and then LGU also does not know about it. So I'm giving that one as an example, in educating the grassroots, the local community. Now, as someone who is teaching, I really believe in the important, crucial role of the grassroots education in conserving, preserving our cultural heritage here in Lanao, particularly tangible cultural heritage. Yes, Ma'am Putri. Back to you.
Um, we're hoping that it's not yet too late to do all this, and we're hoping that the BARM will pay attention to this and the LGU. And I think we have to put it into our hands now, encouraging maybe Mindanao State University to have a community outreach on educating the community uh, on um, on our history and our pusaka, our heritage, and the importance of this into our own identity and our own rising up. Because the coming in of other kinds of media really divert the minds of our people from looking inside how rich we are as a people, and that takes an effort. Now, also at the same time, we have to be aware that there was a conscious erasure of memory. You know, the coming in of the Thomasites, this historically is patterned in the mission school that was built here in the US for the Native Americans so that the Native Americans will forget their own heritage. So there is that kind of model that has been applied to us. And if you will see, it's not too long ago that kind of education was implanted into our minds, and that is the one that is persisting right now because of the Department of Education itself. That is very alienating. I mean, promoting more external culture than anything. Like, for example, I have to appreciate Shakespeare. I have to memorize the iambic form of the sonnets before I can say that we have darangan. We have our we have our ancient um, poetry form. But during my education time, the the Moro are always discriminated. The moment you say you're Moro, I you are you'll be nobody will listen anyway. So there were educators, there were moral educators who really asserted that, like the Madali. Now I think UP can create their own curriculum. So I hope MSU can create our own curriculum too, to really implant that into the younger generation's mind, and also go out to the community and outreach and really highlight the appreciation of our ancestral heritage, because there is a conscious erasure and looks like it is becoming a success. What I mean is, we will just be erased. And it's sad because that's the loss of link, you know, the missing link of mankind. And how much is the consciousness of our government to really give this emphasis, even just as what you said, putting in on landmarks. When you put landmark that Amay Pakpak was here, at least they became a hospital. But the Turugan is really, really precious because it is very unique in its architecture. Where can you find a building that is standing on boulders of stone that protects the whole building from earthquake? And it's also um, stump trunks of trees, and a building that has no nails at all, no nails, and it's all carving all over. And that's only the ancient Turugan. And if you look at it, how much effort was given to that when there was no tools during the time. Unlike now, you have all these electrical and battery-driven tools that is easy to carve. But if you will see the hand carving of the turugan on this hardwood, that in fact even the centuries of termites cannot bite it.
Yeah. Yes, Ma'am Putri, I really agree with you. And also, when you mention about curriculum, yes, I agree with that. Uh, the Meranaw cultural heritage, or uh, subjects on cultural heritage, should be integrated to the curriculum. No curriculum that is part of the educational aspect of preserving cultural heritage. Yeah. Yes, my practice with my classes, with my students, no, we are organizing actually in every SEM, in every class that I have. I let my students organize a lakbay aral in one town. Lakbay aral to the important heritage sites in the places, even people, elders who know a lot about the history of the place. We do lakbay aral, and I think that's one of the ways in promoting awareness, no, in educating the communities, about the historical value of their town, of their town. So I could,
Also,
yeah,
also the changing of names. For example, Bombaran. That
yes,
name is from Darangan. That's the second
yes,
chapter of Darangan. And for
yes,
example, Kurmatan. That is
yes,
one of the last chapter of Darangan. Now
yes,
these are names that could have been kept, that would remind people that we have a very beautiful epic that is comparable to whatever epics that we're studying in the classroom. Because we study Greek mythology, we study Roman mythology. We didn't even study ours when, in fact, it's much more marvelous. You know, like when I speak about Durangan, how much Meranaw understand it, like the younger one. So that one too, and the preservation of the chanting of that tradition. There are only few who chants it, actually. So if we can like have that kind of preservation, because the elders, the owner, the old owner, like my aunt, very old already, and she almost don't have a voice to chant. So we Maranao people is its own nation actually. It could have been kept, but
yeah. I agree, Ma'am Putre. There is a lot also of work to be done on the other aspect of cultural heritage, the intangible, like the one that you've mentioned about the padadarangan, the honor, you know, we need to continue. We need to preserve, to preserve this intangible heritage. Yes, that's very important. I agree. I really agree with you. Uh, and I think Sindaw is contributing to the preservation, or Kinding Sindaw, it's contributing to the preservation of intangible heritage, like the dances and then the chanting. I think you are doing that one in Kinding Sindaw also.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. This was a great conversation, and we are very much happy to have you back with us, Professor. It is, we're, I can't speak today. I think it's a lack of sleep. Unfortunately, we are out of time for tonight's episode. But Patty, if you want to bring the PowerPoint up real quick, we just have some closing announcements you want to share with folks. And we're continuously raising money for typhoon relief. So you can follow the link through NAFCON, or the National Alliance for Filipino Concern. We also would love for folks to sign up for our Love for Marawi campaign. I think I need to get something checked. I can't talk properly today. As well as Save Our Schools Network to help out the Lumad and the Bakwet schools because they keep having to close and it's very, very much encroaching on indigenous peoples. You can also scan the QR code on this page to sign up for our weekly dance classes, usually Saturdays at 12 and Sundays at 6 p.m. And we're also continuously raising money to support displaced communities in Mindanao because of continuous evacuation. They can't go back to Marawi City, and especially amidst the pandemic, it's been very tough on them. I also, as a plug, I work for a community health center, so let me just switch my background for a second. Hi, my name is Jerome Valoria, and I'm your Project Connect coordinator at Appalachia Community Health Center. And we're hosting our third and final dance workshop series next Friday, the 21st, from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Um, Eastern Time, and it's gonna be a hybrid session. So we'll have limited in-person attendance at Cultural Lab in Long Island City, and then the rest of the folks will be joining us on Facebook Live and Zoom. We will be introducing some basic dance movements from the Taosu people, and also learning a bit of the mermaid and the monkey dance, or Sumping Kata Marayao. Um, with that said, I would like to turn this over to Potri.
Putri. Oh, thank you very much, everyone. Anyone else, Patty and Vivian, do you want to say your words? Um, okay, so we're gonna close tonight.
Yeah, we can close poetry.
We're gonna close tonight. Thank you very much. We are over time actually. That conversation that has to be continued. The next event will be May 22, which is actually commemoration of the Marawi seeds, and that will be the topic of our Rinayung. And let's do this. Thank you very much. Shukran. Assalamualaikum, Professor Tirmizy Abdullah.
Thank you,
And
Kinding Sindaw.
okay, let's do our salutation in honor of our ancestors who created and transmitted this tradition to us. With open hearts, we like to take them in mind, body, and soul. And with humility, we bow as we use it to empower us as we walk our path. Shukran. Thank you.
Thank you for joining,
Shukran.
everyone.
folks. Enjoy the rest of your week.